low body fat percentage, tight butt cheeks, ripped abdominals, looking amazing, feeling fantastic. How do you make all of that happen? And does it happen in the kitchen, or does it happen in the gym, or does it happen on the exercise field when you're playing sport? And it's, I think, a really great question, because I'm in the kitchen at the moment and I hear this on a daily basis. Abs are made in the kitchen. 80% of your results come from your eating. Well, if that's true, then how do we make sure that whatever goes on in the kitchen is going to work for us? But what if you love food? What if you love chocolate and biscuits and cake and ice cream, or you like to drink alcohol, or you just love to eat food? Do you have to control what you eat? Do you have to count every calorie? Do you have to count macronutrient percentages? Do you have to make life really complicated in the kitchen so that you can look good? And I'm one of those people that just loves food, and I don't want to count calories. I don't want to be on a diet. I don't want to feel guilty about foods that I love eating that are supposedly bad foods. I just want to, as I say, live my life to the max. But when you love food, that means eating what you love, never eating what you don't like. Eat when you're hungry, stop eating when you're full. So how do I get a body like that? Do I have to be a fanatical dieter? Do I have to be a fanatical calorie counter? Does the way I look and feel start in the kitchen? And what if it doesn't? And to me, this is really great news. And the whole part about exercise, because I hear this a lot, exercise has nothing to do with weight loss. And that would also depend on what you consider weight loss to be. Because when people say to me that they've lost weight, I always feel a bit sad. Because what if it's water weight? They're dehydrated. What if it's muscle weight? It means that their metabolism has gotten slower. What if it's bone weight, which means they've got osteoporosis, bone thinning disease? And if you've got a combination of all three, so you're dehydrated, lost muscle and lost bone, you're going to be much lighter on the scales, but you're going to have a very slow metabolism and you aren't going to have very much energy. So I often feel a bit sad when people tell me that they've lost weight. So the 4 questions that I always ask: have you got a stack of energy? Are you performing at your best? Do you love what you see in the mirror and how your body feels to touch? And are you getting the results that you want? And how much of that is actually controlled by your food? Versus if you've got a fit, strong body with a fast metabolism and a respiratory quotient, and I think that's the RQ is the one that people tend not to focus on or don't even know what it is. I ask a lot of exercise professionals, what are you doing to change your client's RQ? And they look at me a little bit dumbfounded as if to say, well, what does that mean? Pretty simple. Your base metabolic rate, BMR, is how many calories your body needs to survive. Your metabolic rate is how many calories you're burning at the moment. And your RQ, your respiratory quotient, or your respiratory quotient, depending on how you pronounce it, is where those calories are coming from at the moment. And ideally, well, the human body is about a 50-50, half carbohydrate, half fat, is what we use in the aerobic system to live. So we breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide, and the energy source for that process in the aerobic system is predominantly carbohydrate and fat and a little bit of protein. But what if you could turn your body or change your respiratory quotient into more fat burning than carbohydrate burning? And that process is very simple, because when you're really fit, by doing high intense activity, and this is where people get a bit confused with exercise doesn't work for weight loss versus if I'm really fit, will I have a low body fat percentage? And here's the differentiation. When you're really fit, that means you have to get puffed at 100% effort, which is a different energy system. It's either the phosphate system, which is stored phosphates, 100% effort for 10 seconds, or it's high intense activity for somewhere between 10 seconds to 2 minutes in the lactate system, but neither of those systems use use fat, they use carbohydrate as an energy source. So if you're really fit, your body needs carbohydrate so that you can work really hard at 100% effort to get 100% results. What happens though is that you burn all the carbohydrate you only burn carbohydrate when you're doing high intense activity. But when you're resting, your body says we need to save that carbohydrate for every time she does high intense activity. So let's change her RQ, her respiratory quotient, where the calories are coming from, to burn more fat when she's resting. So when people say to me, Rowie, do you exercise to burn fat? Hell no, because when I'm exercising, I want to burn only carbohydrate. I don't want to burn fat when I'm exercising, because that means I'm in the aerobic system, which I'm in all day long. I don't need to get fitter in the aerobic system. I want to get fitter in the phosphate and the lactate system, burning only carbohydrate, so that when I'm resting, my body becomes, as I'm very happy to share, a fat-burning machine. Your RQ, your respiratory quotient, the percentage changes so that you burn more fat when you're resting than you burn carbohydrate, which means for most people, we exercise for a lot less time than we're sitting down or lying down or doing nothing in the aerobic system. So if you can get your body to burn a lot of fat or more fat or a higher percentage of fat when you're doing nothing, are you more likely to be lean? Which then says, are my abs built in the kitchen? Could I then passionately be excited about the fact that if I've got a high RQ and if I've got a fast metabolism, and of course if I'm fit and strong, my BMR is going to be high because I'm going to have more muscle. So everything works together when I'm fit and strong to turn my body into a highly functioning, calorie burning, fat burning, food burning, carbohydrate burning machine. And I get really excited about this because I don't want my abs to be made in the kitchen. I want to come to the kitchen and enjoy my food. I don't want to count calories. I don't want to diet. I don't want to have it, can't have, mustn't have, don't have headspace ever. I want to eat what I love, don't eat what I don't like, eat when I'm hungry and stop eating when I'm full. And that's the other exciting thing. When you've got a fit, strong hormonal system, which comes from having a fit, strong body, that your hormones are the ones that tell you, start eating, you're hungry, stop eating, you're full. So you can't overeat when you've got a strong hormonal system. When you're in control of your hormones because you're fit and strong, you don't even want to overeat. There's no desire to. You can't because you're full. So when you come into the kitchen, you enjoy your food, you eat because you're hungry, and you stop eating when you're full. And to get that body, you've got to be fit and you've got to be strong. And to get fit and strong, you've just got to overload your muscles and bones, and you've got to overload your heart and lungs, your respiratory and cardiovascular systems. That's where it becomes a little bit interesting. And as I always share, physiology shares with us that low intensity activity, walking, plod jogging, long exercise in the aerobic system can be counterproductive, can even make us fatter. Because here's what happens when it comes to the kitchen. If you've been out for an hour doing a plod jog, or you've been out for an hour walking, or you've been to the gym for an hour doing something, you've been doing a class, you've been doing weights, whatever, anything that you do for a long period of time, you can exercise hard or you can exercise long, but you can't do both. So as soon as you go past 2 minutes, and literally I think it's past 10 seconds because I'm always in a hurry, so my high intense activity bursts of activity are only 10 seconds in the phosphate system. But once you go past 2 minutes, you're in the aerobic system, and that is long, slow and boring, and that burns calories much slower. It also doesn't do much change to your RQ because you're now burning fat when you're exercising. When you exercise in the phosphate and the lactate system, you're only burning carbohydrate. So you go out for an hour of exercise, and then you come into the kitchen after your hour of exercise, and you think to yourself, oh, I've had such a long exercise session, I've been out for a whole hour. So instead of having a glass of water, you might have a glass of juice, or you might have another beer rather than just one beer. You might have more dinner. You might have an extra cookie, an extra muffin. Just eat more because you've been exercising more. But just because you exercise more doesn't mean that first of all, you don't burn very many calories when you walk. You don't burn very many calories in the aerobic system. Not very many more than you would normally burn by living your life. It's only when you change your body chemistry, you change your RQ, your respiratory quotient, where you change that from being a slow carbohydrate burner, slow fat burner the whole time you're alive. You burn all your carbohydrate when you're exercising because you're at 100% effort. And then when you're resting, you burn a lot more or a much higher percentage of fat, which means your body's a fat burning machine. So I'm going to wrap all of that up and make it really simple. Get really fit and get really strong. And wouldn't that mean then you could eat whatever you bloody well wanted? Because you won't want to eat too much because you can't, because your hormonal system's working. Why would you waste calories on food that you don't like? I can never understand that, and I always ask that question. So eat what you love, don't eat what you don't like, eat when you're hungry, stop eating when you're full. And when you come to the kitchen, wouldn't it be nice if it was a pleasurable experience rather than I've got to count and weigh and measure and cut and cook differently and have a headspace that says can't have, mustn't have, don't have, shouldn't have? Wouldn't it be nice to come into the kitchen or go to the grocery store or go out for dinner or go to a cafe and eat whatever you bloody well want, because your body is a fat burning machine? Wouldn't that be awesome? Fat burning, calorie burning, food burning machine. Woohoo! Live your life to the max.